without that community, I do believe I wouldn't be walking this path still. They came alongside of me in my darkest times and held me up when I needed the most support. I'm the oldest of 4 and a 2-parent household until I was 16. There was a lot of dysfunction. My father went to prison when I was just 4 years old, and I have siblings that are 3 and 4 years younger than me, so they were 1 and a newborn. So I took on the role of a caregiver and grew up quickly. Some of my earliest childhood memories are of high-speed chases and my father's imprisonment. There was a lot of family members that were in and out of my house, grandma, uncles, and close family friends. A lot of addiction and drugs were there in the home. A lot of dysfunction and abuse. My teenage years and young adult years, I played sports. We moved to Oak Ridge when I was 10 or 11, and then I feel like I began to struggle there in school. I started experimenting at a very young age with alcohol and drugs and quit the sports as soon as they started implementing UAs. My first DUI crash was at the age of 16 years old. I crashed my dad's truck with my sister and my best friend in the vehicle. I was placed in my first inpatient treatment at the same time, about 16, around the same time my parents divorced. At the age of 16, I tried to end my own life as well. 16 was a very hard year for me. Attempted suicide, and thank goodness I did not succeed at that. I was not willing to change or accept that I was an addict at that point. Becoming a mother was one of the best things that has ever happened to me. I felt like I found my first love. I have never experienced such a deep, compassionate love for another. I struggled in and out of my addiction, and I gave birth to my second son at the age of 23. When we were released from the hospital, I still struggled with my addiction, and just around 6 months of his age, I received my third DUI and was incarcerated for a 90-day sentence. There was a lot of abuse in that home where I raised my boys with their father. I was in a domestic violent relationship for 11 years with their father. I raised my boys in that home till they were 7 and 3. Sorry. I raised my boys until they were 7 and 3, and my parents stepped in and took guardianship of them while I went to do my prison sentence. I was sentenced to 22 months in prison, and I did 13. My parents have had guardianship since. When I was released from prison, I did pretty good in sobriety for about 18 months, with 13 months in prison and 6 months out. I worked really hard at reuniting with my children, but my addiction took over, and I fell deep into my addiction again, and I found myself at a loss for my job and the place of living and all of those things. And in that place of addiction, I found myself pregnant again at 32. I gave birth to my daughter. Finding out that I was pregnant again was the beginning of a turning point. I knew that I could not give birth to another child and raise them and keep them, but I battled through my pregnancy with faith in my addiction. She is my second chance at becoming the mother I've always wanted to be. And all of my children are the best thing that ever happened to me. I stayed sober for about 5.5 months after giving birth to Faith, but found myself in the same situation again. I was arrested while pregnant with Faith And again, I was hoping that would be the turning point, but again, I turned back to drug use. Before coming to Corvallis, I was at a crossroads and made the call, and nobody could help take custody of my daughter. I had the opportunity to come to Corvallis to go to a program called Milestones. Since coming to Milestones, my recovery journey has been a very crazy roller coaster ride with many, many highs and some lows. While attending Milestones, they had an option to come to church, where I found a flyer for Loving in the hallways while peeking on my daughter while she was at childcare.